welcome to Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Roger Norum.
And I'm Bill Littauer. Coming up this week, the Harbor Island baseball diamond light controversy boils over and finally settles down with the lights finally going up.
Development of country club golf courses, another controversial issue put on hold for a while.
A special boat visits our harbor.
And a call to all voters to show the flag around David's Island.
Looking back at the school year and for more room to dancercise and, would you believe, another area restaurant review.
First, the biggest controversy to hit the village of Mamaroneck in years, certainly in recent memory, concerns Mamaroneck's Wrigley Field. It's called Lanza Field on Harbor Island. There's been a heated debate over the past several weeks between those for and against the 70-foot cluster lights. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Nancy St. Lifer asked some of your neighbors for their opinions.
I do feel they need the lights.
What do you think about the Harbor Island lights?
I think it's a great idea.
Do you play softball?
No, I don't play, but I like to watch it.
It depends on which way they're shining and how late they have them on.
Now for a look at the controversy and resolution, here's LMC News reporter Alice Bloom.
Thank you, Roger. At a heated, at times unruly, and often vituperative village board meeting a week ago Monday, Board of Trustees gave the go-ahead to the installation of lights at Lanza Field. The trustees' approval is, however, conditional. They've issued a negative declaration or a statement that there are not significant environmental issues prohibiting the project from advancing. There are guidelines for the use of those lights. In the future, anyone wishing to modify those conditions will have to file a full environmental impact statement in order to do so. Additionally, the go-ahead is also conditioned on engineering reports that hope to find no safety hazards with installing 70-foot poles with stadium-style light in the landfill, which is Lanza Field.
We've been talking long and hard, both sides of the issues. And I think it's time to come to the conclusion that these people came here for this evening.
Critics of the lights claim that they were never fully informed about the scope of the project, the height of the poles, the plan for a public address system, now eliminated. Prior to the appearance at a Recreation Committee meeting about a month ago, there were no restrictions set on the use of the lights, how late they could be used, or how many nights a week they would be operated. Another issue alluded to that normal procedures were not followed and perhaps circumvented. The light proposal was never discussed by the full Recreation Committee, but was presented to the village board suggesting it had been. The village hired a consultant to offer advice about the project, but that consultant was also a salesman for the lighting company. And are stadium-style lights in concert with the spirit or the intent of our local waterfront revitalization plan? At a time when, as always, the village is pressed for money, there are many obvious needs crying for attention. The Beach Pavilion, an original WPA building sitting in a prominent place at Harbor Island, has been condemned. Some playing fields at Harbor Island are in sad shape. The money for the lights, some $140,000, is a return from Westchester County for the village's allowing Yonkers Contracting, the company upgrading the sewage treatment plant, to use the village's parking lots and harbor fields. Should this money have been applied to rehabilitate the existing harbor facilities? Significantly, the Mamaroneck Village has received from its planning consultant a master plan for Harbor Island. Is construction of the lights consistent with those priorities in that plan? It is stated that lights at Lanza Field will primarily service some 500 softball players on village teams. While that group has been lobbying for lights for some years, a question raised but never fully answered is there another field that could be used or created to service their added games, the added games that this league wishes to play? Or is there another field where lights could be erected that would not reflect off the water or be so close to residential neighborhoods? Strict rules will be in place providing for turnoff of lights by 10 p.m. this season. Games will only be played on weeknights, and teams using the lighted fields will have to pay the cost of operation. But Democratic trustees have raised questions about how Mamaroneck Village reaches decisions about capital projects. I believe a message has been sent to all who do business in and with the village that future capital projects will receive close and thorough scrutiny.
Thanks to Alice Bloom for that. And late word from Mamaroneck Village engineers is that just about all the T's are crossed and I's dotted to allow the construction of the lights on Lonza Field. Barring any unforeseen snag, the expectation is that Mamaroneck will have nighttime baseball around mid to late July. Bill?
More than 40 people turned out last week for a Mamaroneck Town Board meeting on the future of the town's 3 country clubs. With Bonnie Brier already facing possible residential development, the town must decide whether to allow it or rezone the properties to keep them for strictly recreational use. We discussed this and other issues with Town Councilwoman Elaine Price.
Haven't heard from all of the residents, but I would say that a fair number would not want any development on Bonnie Brier.
So what is really the attitude of the council? Are you for it, against it, looking for a way to defeat it, or how?
Okay, we have 437 acres of open land that we have to look at very carefully because it's an irreversible effect. Whatever we do there will be there for decades to come. So we are doing an extensive environmental analysis to see if limited development is an option, no development, recreational zone is an option, what options are available to the town in terms of buying the property, public ownership, private ownership, could we use it for a town park? Should it remain as a golf course per se? Could it be a public golf course? How many members would we need? Would it be too many? What are the financial trade-offs? And how it would affect flooding, how it would affect the environment, tax revenues, drain on services, schools, drain on schools.
So this is all being undertaken in the environmental impact study.
This is all embodied in the environmental impact statement, and we had a scoping session last night where the residents from the community came and listed the issues that they thought were important to be discussed and looked at, analyzed in the scoping
Now,
process.
you're an environmental attorney as well as a councilwoman. Can, after the fact, the developer does have the right to the property, after the fact, can the town change the zoning and prevent his developing it?
You mean after the fact that he has controlling interest? It's an interesting point. You have to remember that even before the developer had any kind of controlling interest, we had targeted Bonnie Brier and Wingfoot in our local revitalization program as an area that should remain open at all costs. So we have that as a document, and this study is emanating from the document. We had a Schuster report, and we've used the Schuster report as a springboard to study all of the various permutations, and the Schuster report goes back to our LWRP, and so there is validation for the continuing scrutiny, whether or not a developer has a controlling interest or not.
School days, and it's that time of the year when we look back on the past 9 months of school. To do that, with a special guest is our school news reporter for Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, Monique Citron. Monique?
Rita Blockton of the State Education Special Ed Office says Rhinebeck has made significant progress in their compliance with the 56 violations of state guidelines cited in the March report. But there still needs to be improvement in some areas, most notably the district's implementation of individual student programs. Another assessment will take place June 25th. Flynn Park Day Camp is still looking for a lifeguard. If you're 17 or older with BLS certification, please call the Village Hall at 834-6230. Registration for day camp is in progress now at the hall. Bring immunization charts, and the 9 to 1 session is $100, 9 to 3 is $140.
Now we're going to catch up with Mr. Tickney. He's got some very important news. Let's find out what it is.
Thank you very much. I wanted to let you know, the student body of MHS, that I am accepting a new position in the district, that of assistant to the superintendent, and going to be leaving the principalship of MHS as of this summer. I would expect that a new principal will be hired and as part of a search during the course of the summer and be in place this coming September.
These activities coming up in our area this month, a boaters' protest over the David's Island development plan is being organized for June 30th. They plan to meet between Pea Island and Execution Rock at 11 that morning.
We checked with the president of the Long Island Sound Task Force, Catherine Clark, about the recent vote in New Rochelle on David's Island.
We were very unhappy to learn that New Rochelle had approved what is really much too massive a project right in the most stressed area of western Long Island Sound. They, I believe, could salvage their economy with something less drastic and something which would preserve their waterfront and their recreational uses into the future, as well as not hurting their neighborhood and hurting the Sound.
Thanks to Catherine Clark for being with us on Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. Bill?
The Harrison Players will stage the Andrew Lloyd Webber musical Evita the weekends of the 15th and 22nd at the Emlyn Theater. Tickets are $15.
Hundreds upon hundreds of boats in our harbor, and every once in a while a really special boat makes an appearance. The newest young member of our Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News team, Jeff Akseizer, climbed aboard the environmental awareness boat for children called Sound Waters. He talked to the captain and two of the crew. Here's Jeff's report.
And I'm here with the captain of the Anne Christine, now the Sound Waters boat. Can you give us a little history on this boat?
The boat was built in Denmark in 1894 to carry salt around the Baltics from one place in the Baltic Sea to another, from wherever they produced it to wherever they needed it.
And what is the ship used for today?
Today it is used to carry school children out onto Long Island Sound, to introduce them to the waters of the Sound and the creatures that live in it. And it is also used to advocate the cleaning up of Long Island Sound, which has deteriorated badly in the last 10 years.
Sound Waters is an eco-educational organization, and we're dedicated to the restoration of Long Island Sound. Right now we're taking out school groups and camp groups and maybe some corporate sales for adult groups, and we're trying to educate the people on the impact that people in the past and in the present have had on Long Island Sound. And we're trying to instill in them the importance of Long Island Sound to our environment and our livelihoods.
Thanks to Jeff Akseizer and his brother David for working on that story for Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. That's it for another edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. Remember to watch us any weekday night at 5:45 or 9:45 or 10 o'clock. A new program begins every Monday. And if you would like to see the how and what we do here to make this program possible, join us on Thursday night around 7 o'clock here in the studios of LMC-TV Channel 36 in the Palmer Avenue unit of Mamaroneck Avenue High School.
We record the program Thursday night, and you're welcome to watch. If you have an idea for a story that you think would be of interest to the Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News team, share it with us. Better yet, take some video of the event and give us what you think is your best minute. Also, if you're looking to get involved in a worthwhile summer activity, consider being a part of the Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News team.
Thanks for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Roger Norum.
And I'm Bill Littauer. We'll see you next week at the same time.